Hey guys, my name is Ram,
And I'm Bhargav,
and
and
this
this
is
is
Data
Data
Shots.
Shot.
We tried it. I think we can do it again the next time around, but it's okay. Welcome to Data Shots. I know that people will be, all right with it. But guys, today we're going to talk about something which is very, very pertinent to the times that we live in, especially given the topic that we're going to cover. So we're going to talk about how to vaccinate yourself and your brand from the impending TPC pandemic. Okay, I know it sounds ominous, but I want to get my buddy Bhargava to explain to you what the TPC pandemic is. So Bhargava, you want to educate our viewers on what the TPC pandemic is?
Sure. Three, two, one. Third party cookie pandemic.
Yay! Yeah, for everyone in the marketing world, we all are very aware of the fact that the third party cookie is going to go down the funeral way. If you guys have seen that funeral video of this, I think they're going to have like a funeral video for the third party cookie very, very soon. Jokes apart, just to bring you guys up to date on how important 2021 is from a marketing point of view. Apple is going to end their IFDA ID by any time now. They said that in early 2021, so we don't really know, so it's going to end. Google has officially said that they're going to stop supporting third-party cookies in Chrome by the end of 2021, which means 2021 is going to be a seminal year in how brands are going to shift or navigate the entire, actually it's an addiction on the third party cookie. Okay, and I feel like the way we want to present it is that there is going to be a pandemic, the way we see it, of people trying to figure out how to navigate this sudden demise of the third party cookie, unless we're prepared for it and we start working on it from the get go, which is like 3 months ago. But it's not too late. It should be like we should be thinking about it right now. And that's why we wanted to cover it as our second recommendation for what we believe is the most important things early stage, growth stage brands can do to navigate 2021. So Bhargava, what do you wanna take it from there?
Sure. I mean, so we see this already happening in terms of regulations, GDPR, California Consumer Protection Act. But then you also see this happening in consumer preferences, right? So now we have this whole host of privacy conscious customers.
Yeah.
A lot of customers use ad blockers, right?
Yeah.
And you have all of these things, and then you rely on third-party cookies to drive data-driven marketing.
Yeah.
That's going to fail terribly. And at this point of time, you need to build your first-party data strategy.
Absolutely.
I will ask you, so if you were building first-party data strategy, what would it look like?
Ah man, I'm gonna put like a regular marketer's hat on, and not like an expert's hat on, and say, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay, that's what's going on in my head. But I'm gonna pretend as though I know this and say, first party cookies. I think we're gonna actually do something with our website and our social media, and like make it much more interactive so that more people can actually spend more time in our website and social media. Does that sound good? Is that what you think we should be doing?
Sure. So yes. So the reason is that people who come to your platform are your audience. They come
Yeah.
because something in what you tell resonates with them, right? Which means that you better own information about them, understand what your customer asks from you, and then build
Right.
strategy around it. And this would mean that for your site, for your app, you have your own cookie information about what visitors are doing, information about your social media followers, and then any additional thing that you do with your consumers, be it surveys, sending out newsletters, or
Yeah.
consumer feedback. you should own your entire customer interactions. It's
Yep.
extremely important. So
So I guess
this,
what you're trying to say is that instead of being codependent on other platforms, they're not going to go away. They're going to morph in a different way. But instead of codependent on them, become interdependent so that you actually are, are the main source. You're cultivating the sense of like, I'm going to take responsibility for bringing my audience towards me, and make them engage directly with me, you know?
absolutely. And that would be a huge differentiator. The moment consumer knows that you care about them and are able to prove that you're privacy conscious, that you own whatever they're telling to you very seriously, it's going to bring a whole sea of difference to
Yeah.
how the brand is.
Not just that, Bhargava, because, also we serve brands which are up and coming, early stage, growth stage brands, right? Obviously, I've worked and you've worked with large brands. I've driven the Coca-Colas and the Johnson Johnsons of the world. You've driven like the Base Dogs of the world, and we know at that level, even they are scrambling for sure. But they have the kind of capacity and the wherewithal to basically say, "Oh, we're not going to advertise in Facebook for 7 months, or we're not going to work on social media for 7 months." Right? Most of the literally like 95% of the other brands do not have that luxury. They don't, which means that when this whole third party cookie TPC pandemic is going to hit, guess who's going to be scrambling? All these guys are going to be scrambling. And you know what? Before I jumped into this call, I actually looked into some statistic. Apple drives $15 billion worth of revenue based on this thing, okay, on their advertising. And Google only drives about 8 billion, which means, and it's rest of the world. Now, for Google ID, okay, which means that most of the Apple consumers are in the US and Europe and, whatever, right? So anytime a brand wants to drive this stuff and be prepared for what is happening, I feel like most of the brands that we're serving are like really, really dependent on the social media platforms, which means they need to be scrambling about this right now, which comes, which takes us to what do you think they should start doing? What is the thing that we can recommend to them that they can start doing not tomorrow, but like right now after they hear this damn video? What do you think they should be doing?
Owned media, right?
Owned
So,
media.
so
Yeah.
the way to think about is that don't build a marketing org for your brand. Build a media empire for your org, right?
That's right.
That's what growth stage companies should be thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is something that you're so passionate about. What do you think? What do you think an owned media looks like? What does it mean, and how do you go
Yeah,
about
so
doing it?
own media for me is something where it's a very, very good question, right? So it's basically a shift in thinking. That's what it really boils down to. Okay, there is the media definition of own media, which is like I own these properties. I have Facebook page, Instagram followers, TikTok, etc., etc. But instead of looking at them as fans with these things, that's the way own media works. The I would call it not even the pivot, the pointing towards this evolution is to say own media is to say, I'm going to own my people, my customers, which means that I'm going to bring these customers together and own their experience and figure out how do I actually build this media empire. It doesn't have to be, when I say empire, when you say empire, it's not like the size of it. Whatever size that I'm in, it's my little empire, right? How do I map it out so that I can actually figure out a way of going from cultivating a fan base to creating a tribe? Okay? It might sound a little outlandish for some brands, but believe you and me, you can always start building a tribe while cultivating a fan base. That's the shift. For me, when I own my media, I own my customer experience, which means I own why and when my clients are going to come and interact with me and the values that they connect with me. And we need to figure out a way of actually bringing them all together into a singular space. Yeah, that's what owned media for me is.
Got it. Let me ask you this question, right? Does it make sense? So I know one of the things that you told earlier, which I totally agree, is that it's not like all the third-party cookie companies are going to go away. They will morph and as customer preferences change, they'll reinvent themselves. They're all big companies, right? They're
It's
all
$80 billion worth of money, man. Nobody's going anywhere. Okay, so it might go a little down, but yeah, they're not going to run away with that money. No way.
Right, right. They'll reinvent themselves. But does it? Will the strategy work for all sorts of companies, or is there? I mean, when you tell an early stage, growth stage company, does it make sense for any kind of company to be concentrating on first
party data?
First party data.
Yeah, I think they should. They should at least start thinking right away, because obviously early stage brands are very strained towards reaching as many people as possible because they need to let people know. Okay, but given the fact that there is so many overlaps between similar brands, and we always have to remember that any new brand is only there to take away somebody's attention from a larger brand. They're going to basically shift, right? Which means that the only way to do that is to figure out a way of actually telling, obviously, the right stories, which also lends into figuring out, okay, these are the reasons why you should not be looking to them, but come to me, right? And that is based on both transactive opportunities, which is basically values like, great deal, sale, blah, 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 etc. But more importantly, the brand, reasons why they want to connect with. That is where the real growth happens together with building the brand. And I feel like it's relevant. The percentage allocation of how much of it is relevant varies. I'm not going to say that it's equal. But I feel very strongly that CMOs of young brands must start looking. Actually, they have an advantage. I don't even know why I'm trying to plead them. They have an advantage so that they can actually start from the get-go and say, not only can I drive performance marketing, but we can also drive building a tribe. You know what I mean? We can do that together so that they can build a moat towards this impending TPC pandemic.
Absolutely, absolutely. So literally, the thing that they can do is do things which their large competitors are afraid or unable to do that fast, right? So really owning customer relationship by having first party data is a definite moat.
I want to ask you something. I want to ask you something. As a data scientist, okay, you obviously dealt with large organizations, right? Which means that in this case, for a young brand, for a growing brand, how would you recommend from a data point of view, what would they need to do? Because I think we need to just bring them into okay, I have 5 platforms, okay, I have the usual suspects. What would you recommend them to do from a thinking along this?
One is having strong data strategy itself in place, having better event tracking, using tools which are part of your subdomain. So not rely on third-party services to aggregate and provide you information, but rather own that set of information. That's one. The second thing is these kind of information, if you can do it right from the get-go, the kind of insights that you get can help you drive your business much faster than what the word that we specifically use, performance marketing, can deliver, right? Because the moment you do, so which means that every performance marketing activities that you run, ads on Facebook or Google Ads or TikTok, any of the strategy that you do is just going to drive up your customer acquisition cost. But the moment you understand what customers are doing on your site, if you own that particular information, it can help you refine what's working, what's not working. That's one. The second thing is if you look into a lot of what brands do, they spend enormous amount of time on retargeting. The moment you know what a customer did on your platform, and then if you can use that in a very intelligent way to then retarget, that helps you. So that's a very clear tactical thing that I can tell, right? In terms of forget everything else. You can just improve your remarketing, your retargeting activities to just improve your bottom line, like right from the word go, right? So that's a very clear cost benefit analysis that you have.
Gotcha. And I feel like, just to pivot to that whole point about retargeting, I feel like, see, I'm not a big fan of the word targeting, okay? And I think we can discuss that later. But I know what you're saying. I'm completely with you on that. But I also feel like if you can just pivot the whole retargeting agenda, instead of start, just a shift in thinking, like, say, I'm going to follow them wherever they are, to like saying, like, I'm going to invite them wherever they are. Okay, just like I know it sounds cuckoo and it's like woo woo and all that, but just the intent of it, saying like, I'm going to reach you wherever you are, like saying like, I'm going to seek you out, bring you in, welcome you wherever you are. I'll give you the opportunity. Please come and give us the opportunity to be a part of our. I think that thinking and shift in thinking, I think would really, really help.
Oh, that's extremely well said. I would also add a layer to what you talked about, right? Like one of the points that you told earlier, in terms of companies which are transaction oriented. For example, I'm going to buy a house, I need a plumber to fix it, or I'm going to order food on a food delivery app. Versus something that's more
Like a DoorDash.
like DoorDash is a great example, right?
Yeah.
Versus something like, say, a Dollar Shave Club. I need to
Yeah.
shave, and we have to shave every day. So the relationship between these two are so different,
Right here, yeah.
right? So I'd also say that brands which wants to be part of the lifestyle of the consumer, I think they're extremely well served at this point of time to leverage first party data and then own their audience. And
Super.
as we keep talking about, build a tribe, like seek out the tribe, right? Seek out the tribe and
Invite the tribe, bring them in. Okay. And just to recap, just to cap it up, because I think we want to close up soon. So, can I use the term just together, Bhargava? Can we recommend something what we call, we spoke about it earlier, how can we help our brands to find their marketing center of gravity? Okay, which means like that's like a little, I don't want to even call it a funnel, it's like a vortex. Imagine like this vortex. Okay, so I'm sure you're a statistician, you know what a radar graph is, right? So if you can just like do a little like dimensions on like whatever, this is my Facebook, this is my whatever, this is my email, this is whatever. If you just plot it out, you should be able to figure out literally where your marketing center of gravity is, not just from a transactional point of view, but also from a brand engagement point of view. And if you can just do that and find a good data guy, whichever brand that you are in, find a good team member, find a good agency to get that analysis done, figure out where your marketing center of gravity is, and then from an engagement point of view, and then figure out a way of actually creating more engagements so that people, your customers and audiences can actually gravitate towards you. All your retargeting dollars can actually help you to bring them into that little center of gravity. It doesn't have to be a black hole. It can be all love and light and nice and everything. It's all good. But then the point is to actually figure out a way of actually bringing it down into your ecosystem so that your first party data is enriched and those roots are actually growing and growing and growing, and you get much more grounded in your own strengths rather than being completely codependent on a third party platform or an app or whatever. I know. I think I went a little philosophical on that, but I'm hoping that you get the point.
It's happening, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's so well said. That's happening. I mean, it's just that the sooner you get to the reality and start putting these in practice,
Yeah.
you're going to expedite your schedule to win, right? That's all that it's.
Awesome. Okay. So any last thoughts, parting thoughts today, Bhargav?
I mean, I think it's. I really like what you told about where is your marketing center of gravity, right? I think that would be what I would think of, and then really start. If you haven't already have a strategy in place for first party data, get started right now, because your customers are waiting for that to happen.
Exactly. So thank you guys. As Bhargava said, I'm completely with him on that. So don't get intimidated by all these jargon. It's okay. Okay. It's just what all we need to do is that as a marketer, what we need to do is to figure out how can we actually invite your audiences to get engaging with you directly. That's literally what it is, right? And yes, it does take some technical prowess and analysis to arrive at that, but then the intent is what is absolutely critical. And if you can actually start thinking along these lines around figuring out where your marketing center of gravity is right away, I don't think there should be a problem for you guys to navigate and get vaccinated from the impending TPC pandemic. So that's our data shot for today. Thank you so much for watching, and keep on data storytelling. Thank you. Thank you, Bhargava.
Thank you, everyone.